What is going on, everyone? My name is Under the Radar, and today I have the potential to be the final team builder for PPL D2 Season 1. It's been a very good season, in my opinion. Even though I've had a terrible last two games, I think this season has been absolutely insane. I've loved the PPL. I'm just excited I'm excited to get back into next season, to be honest with you. But before I go over my team, before I go over Jack's team, I kind of want to go over the league standings, because right now they're kind of sort of fucked up. If I'm just being honest, it's going to be tough. However, I want to make sure that you guys know what could happen from this game, what could not happen from this game, and things of that nature. I'm battling him in about 7 hours, so I really want to go over this so I can remind myself how important this game is. So let's go ahead and hop right over the spreadsheet. Okay, so as you can see, I am still second after getting 6-0'd twice. Well, technically one was a 5-0, but I forfeited, so that made it a 6-0, which, you know, I'm okay with. It's a 1 differential point. I'm not that worried about it. But basically, there are a couple different scenarios that could happen. I already know the outcome of the Tampa Bay Lux race and the North Melbourne Kangaskhan's. They're right next to each other. I already know the outcome of that match. I'm not going to spoil it for you in case you haven't seen it. But whoever wins out of those two is guaranteed. Well, they're not guaranteed for sure, but it's a very, 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 very good chance that they will win, that they will be guaranteed second or third. So, here's the thing. If I lose 1-0, actually, hold on one quick second. Okay, sorry about that. I had to go double check them because something didn't look quite right. Basically, if I lose this match, I have to rely on Paul, who is the Philadelphia Flygons, to beat the New Crustal United, so I get third. Because one of either the Tampa Bay Lux Rays or the North Melbourne Kangaskhan's will win, and I have the same differential as the North Melbourne Kangaskhan, so if he wins, then he's automatically above me if I lose. And then the Tampa Bay Lux Rays is in the exact same seat. So if I lose, I'm relying on Paul to beat Chi, and then I get third, and then I have to play, I believe it's Rai from D1 to see who gets promoted and who gets relegated. Which, you know, I'm okay with doing that. I prefer not to. I prefer to win this match, so that way I have a guaranteed second place. But Jack has a very, I don't want to say it's an awkward team, but it's a very awkward for me to face type of team. But that's basically it. Also, another fun fact, say Troy loses 3-0. And say I somehow manage to get like a 6-0 sweep on Jack, which I don't plan to do. I don't even think I can do it. I think it's impossible. But I'm actually back in first. So I can go anywhere from first to fourth, being first in D1, guaranteed promotion, or being fourth and not getting promoted at all. Which all really, really sucks. Actually, it wouldn't even be, it would be fifth. Because if Monatui loses, I'm below him, so I could range anywhere from first to fifth depending on this game. It's very crucial. It's very important for my season. If I finish fifth, I'm not going to be disappointed. I'm going to be disappointed in myself, but what can you do? So this game is very, very, very important. As you can see, Clefable is still in the top 3 of the MVPs, and QRM is right below that, as you can see right there. QRM is right sure, and Clefable is right sure. So I have been doing pretty well with the league table and MVP race, so that's a thing. But I'm just really nervous about this match. I've made a team that's very, very different from my playstyle, so I think that it'll be interesting to see how it works out. But with that being said, let's go ahead and hop right over to the team builder. Okay, so Jack's team is a very, I don't want to say it's an awkward team, but it has a lot of common weaknesses. It has a lot of things that are easy to exploit if you're good at the game, which I'm not, so I don't expect to be exploiting them very well. I just think that his team has potential to be good if he uses it correctly, and I think that his opponent is a very good matchup if they use their team correctly. So it's a lot of very conditional aspects whenever you're facing Jack. He's also extremely unpredictable. Like if I expect him to lead with something, he's not going to lead with it. So I have to keep that in mind the whole time. He's one of those people that whenever you're battling him, just don't make predictions. Just play straight out because it's how he is. So his team is Infernape, Salamence, Registeel, Dragology, Azelf, Tauros, and Mega Altaria, and another fucking calm-minding, bulky water type. Shoot me in the dick, dude. I've faced 2 of them in a row and I've gotten 6-0'd by him. Like, I'm tired of facing bulky, calm-minded water types. I have a feeling he's going to bring it. He doesn't like setup Suicune, but I've gotten 6-0'd by it twice. He might not be able to resist. So, if I can take out a Suicune, I'll be happy with this match. Well, I'm just being honest, because I've had such trouble dealing with bulky water types with Calm Mind that I've basically wanted to shoot myself in the wiener. So, the first mon that I knew I was going to bring was Electivire. I knew I was going to be bringing a Choice Banded Electivire. The reason being is because I want this thing to hit hard as shit. Nothing can switch in on this. And by nothing can switch in, I mean if I predict correctly, like if I'm in against Suicune and I know he's going to switch into his Registeel, and I go for EQ, he's going to die to 2 of them. Wild Charge, I'm adamant, well I'm actually Lonely Nature, but Wild Charge does about 78% minimum to Suicune, which that's very key because I have Pokemon later on in my draft that can do about that much on a dying. If I know that I'm about to die, if he's going to scald me and kill me, and I get off one last hit, this thing can easily revenge kill it. So I'm kind of hoping that this thing just punches holes through his team. Basically, this thing can destroy everything on his team if I predict correctly. Ice Punch destroys Salamence, Dragology, and Mega Altaria no matter what. EQ absolutely destroys Infernape, Registeel, and then Wild Charge takes care of Azelf, Tauros, and Suicune. I'm not going to be outspeeding any of his sweepers because my sweepers are slower than his anyway, so there's no point for me to even try to outspeed them. So I could run plus attack nature, plus special attack nature, things like that, and run max speed to outspeed his Mega Altaria if he's jolly before Dragon Dance. However, I didn't want to run this much speed this week just because if I can live an extra hit and then get an extra hit off, that'd be fantastic, but I can't. I need to be able to outspeed Mega Altaria before he sets up a Dragon Dance. I have a couple ways to deal with Mega Altaria. This is one of them. If he's going to switch in on a Wild Charge, I kind of want to do that calc real quick because I don't really remember it off the top of my head. So let's go Electivire. I'm not gonna show you guys the calc, but you can trust me for what you would like. Choice Band and Wild Charge to Tauros does 84 to 100%, so that's really nice. To Mega Altaria though, to Offensive Dragon Dance with no investment, it does 37 to 44%. If he switches in before he Mega Evolves, then it does 73 to 86%. So if he thinks I'm going to lock myself into Wild Charge and tries to switch into this, deal like a resisted hit or something like that, he's still part flying, it's going to do a shit ton of damage. And then Registeel, if he's specially defensive, not Cross Chop Earthquake, it's basically the same thing, but you get the thingamaboober. Earthquake does 68 to 81%. So if I take out his flyers, like Salamence, which doesn't want to switch into Wild Charges anyway, or I take out his Levitator in Azelf, nothing can switch into an Earthquake from this thing at all. It does massive damage to his entire team, which I think will be really, really good to kind of sort of scare him if I decide to lead off with this thing, and I'm like, well, no matter what you lead off with, it's going to take a shit ton of damage. I'm kind of hoping that might be something that I go for, but I really need to preserve this thing, because if Suicune does start sitting up somehow and I don't have a way to deal with it, this is my way to deal with it. So I need to make sure that I keep this thing around. But that is the Electivire, and the next thing that I actually want to go over is something that I'm going to be leading off with. I've decided that I'm leading off with this no matter what I see on his team, just because it matches up really well, and that is my Gligar. Gligar is a very important Pokemon this match. This is the strategy that I've wanted to use against somebody for a very long time. I didn't get to use it against Chi, but that is a Baton Pass. And before I wanted to use an Agility Baton Pass into Kyurem. I could do that again if I really wanted to with like Life Orb Dragon Pulse, because that does a lot to Suicune. I actually want to double check that. Kyurem, Life Orb, Dragon Pulse versus a Suicune. Yeah, see, Dragon Pulse is 41 to 48%, so it's not a 2-hit KO even with Life Orb. But the thing is, I don't want to have to. God damn it! Don't. Whatever. I don't even care if you make Skype noises. I don't want to have to rely on Kyurem because he has Registeel, which can switch into Dragon moves, Ice moves, and it can take Earth powers pretty decently if he's specially defensive, which I think he will be. God damn it. Okay, I need to do not disturb Skype. Okay. So this is the game plan. I'm leading off with this bitch. If he leads off with his Altaria, I have a couple things I can do. If he decides to Dragon Dance in my face, I'm going directly into Milotic. If he leads off with Altaria, I'm going to Milotic no matter what. Because I can take a return, I can take 2 returns. I can take 2 returns fairly decently. If he decides to Dragon Dance, I can take 1, and then I can go into Clefable, and I can beat it. Or I can go to my Choice Scarf Kyurem and Ice Beam it and kill it. But the only problem is that it makes me lose from turn 1. The only other option I have is if I lead off with Clefable and he leads off with Mega Altaria, and I scare him out and he goes into his Registeel, which Registeel is the matchup that I want because I can set up all day on that thing because I'm bringing an Immunity Gligar. He can't Toxic me, he can't Thunder Wave me. The only thing he can do is set up rocks and then Seismic Toss me. So, turn 1, I'm setting up a Swords Dance. If he expects the Earthquake and switches out into Azelf, trying to avoid the Earthquake, I'm going for an Agility turn 2. Now, here's the thing. That's where the predictions have to come in a little bit. Not like massive predictions. Like a little bit of spooky predictions. If he is Choice Scarfed into Ice Beam, he cannot kill me. It does 62%. If he is Life Orb, I outspeed, I get a Baton Pass, I go into Jirachi, and I can actually OHKO or 2-hit KO everything on his team. Let me say that one more time. Jirachi can 2-hit KO everything on his team. So I fully expect him to do that, or he's going to go into a Salamence, get the Intimidate off, and then I Baton Pass only a +1 to Jirachi, and then that's not ideal. That's not what I want at all. But I have ways that I can go around that and still do a lot of damage to his walls if I have to. But that is my game plan with this thing. I have Knockoff on there because if he doesn't bring Registeel, or say he doesn't bring Suicune at all, I don't need to pass a +2 to this thing. I don't have to. I only have to pass like an Agility to it to outspeed like his Infernape and his Salamence and his Mega Altaria at +1, things like that. Say he doesn't bring Suicune at all. Say he doesn't even bring Mega Altaria at all. Then I only have to pass off a Swords Dance. I honestly don't think he'll bring Mega Altaria. I prepped for it a lot, but I don't think he'll bring it for the main reason that I have a lot of ways to deal with it. Milotic with Haze which by the way, I'm fucking bringing Haze this week. Milotic deals with it decently. Jirachi, if I'm Choice Scarf, beats it, and then Unaware Clefable beats it as well for like the most part. I can live 2 hits and I can do a lot more damage back. And Choice Scarf Kyurem deals with it, and so does Choice Scarf Electivire. So I think he might not actually bring his Mega Altaria. I think he might be bringing Azelf, Infernape, Salamence, Bulky Salamence, Suicune, Registeel, and then like Tauros. I'm hoping. If he brings Dargalgi, that would be awesome. But I'm bringing Knockoff because if he is Life Orbed and I outspeed him, I can knock off and I can OHKO him. If he's with his Azelf is what I'm talking about, with his Azelf. So if he's Choice Scarfed into Ice Beam and I live 1, I can knock off it and kill it. And then that's one thing that my Jirachi doesn't have to worry about. The only problem is my Jirachi doesn't worry about this thing anyway because a +1 Iron Head OHKOs along with other things that I have on Jirachi. So there's going to be a lot of controversy if he brings that. If he doesn't bring Azelf at all, better for me, because that means his only way to carry Ice Beam would be Suicune, which I could kind of see him bringing Suicune in on it to take Earthquakes, or his thingy thing. his Mega Altaria could have Ice Beam. I could kind of see that too, because if he brings a special Altaria, it's not harder for me to deal with, but it's a little bit more scary for me to deal with. But that is my Gligar. It is my entire plan to set up with this thing turn 1 and punch holes through his team. So the next mon on my team is also a setup mon. It's something that I have a lot of confidence in, and that's Unaware Clef. Unaware Calm Mind Clef. I can set up on his Suicune and beat it 1v1, depending on if he has sub or not, which I don't think he will. I can set up on, I can't set up on anything aside from Suicune. However, if I think that he's starting to get a little greedy with Calm Minds, I can send this thing in and Calm Mind up myself. If he scalds me, that's fine. I have Heal Bell to get rid of Burn and things like that. And once I get up one Calm Mind, I can actually beat it 1v1. So that's really, really nice. Moonblast also does a shit ton of damage to Mega Altaria. It does an actual shit ton of damage. Like, it does 64% minimum if he's bulky. So that's really nice. Another thing this allows me to do is this allows me to bait in his Registeel, because his Registeel is basically his only switch into this thing. Isn't that nice? So the other possibility is if I see him not bringing like Salamence or something like that, or Tauros, I might lead off with this in case he leads off with his Mega Altaria, so I can scare it out. And then go into my Gligar, since it's an easy bait for him. I mean, it's an easy bait for him to go directly into Registeel, and then I go into Gligar, and then I do exactly what I want. But that is Clefable. It's standard Calm Mind Clef. It's there to basically scare him. It's there to beat his dragons, because he has 3 of them. 3 fucking dragons. Like, that's insane. But yeah, so that's the thing. Now, this is what I want all of my baton passes to go into, and that is Jirachi. I want all of my baton passes to go into this thing. I have Iron Head, Thunder Punch, Drain Punch, and Heart Stamp. Shout out to Enzo. Heart Stamp is a base 60 power psychic move that has a 30% chance to flinch. So it has the same percentage as Iron Head, which is higher than Zen Headbutt, and it has better accuracy. So it's 100% accurate, and it also OHKOs Infernape at +2. So I don't need to risk the Zen Headbutt miss, and it also OHKOs Dragalge at +2 as well. It also does a shit ton of damage to Tauros, and the amazing thing is, if I want to go for Heart Stamp on his Suicune to get a little bit of chip damage off on it to ensure that 2 Thunder Punches kill him at +2, which, by the way, it has an 82% chance to kill at +2, I can go for a Heart Stamp, hopefully get a flinch, and then go for 2 Thunder Punches and kill him. Now, as you can see, I'm holding the Lumberry instead of a move boosting item. The reason for this is because I fully expect him, if he sees that I have this thing at +2 attack, +2 speed, I fully expect him to go into a Suicune, to live 2 hits and Scald Burn me, or to go into his Registeel and Thunder Wave me. That's why I have Lumberry. What I can do then is if I have Jirachi in against Suicune and he goes for the first Scald and burns me, that's worst case scenario, because that means that I have to rely on getting a high roll, not a high roll, but like a mid roll on the second Thunder Punch and not getting burnt again. That also means that whenever Registeel comes in directly after, he can Thunder Wave me, which sucks. However, I can still 2-hit KO with Drain Punch, and I can get a lot of the health back that I lost from the Scald from Suicune. So that is really nice. And if I can get rid of his 2 walls, it makes it a lot easier for my walls to beat him, because they just win. Like, I have Scald and Ice Beam on Milotic, which take on his Infernape and Salamence perfectly well, along with Dragalge, Azelf, and Tauros. So I think that Milotic is going to come in very key. However, it's only going to come in key if Jirachi cannot get paralyzed, please, or burnt. That would be fantastic. I'm just hoping that he can get 1 Scald off and not burn me. That's all I care about, really. But this thing is going to be very crucial. The speed allows me to outspeed everything on his team at +2, including Choice Scarfed Azelf, because that's really all I need to do. If I was going to be bringing this thing anyway, it would be Choice Scarfed, so it's not that big of a deal. I can live a Return, I can live an Earthquake, I can live a Flamethrower, I can live so much from a Mega Altaria, go for Iron Head, and destroy its entire life. So that's really good for Jirachi. Another thing that is very crucial is the fact that I can live hits from anything on his team at full health. I can't live a Flare Blitz from Infernape. I think I can live an Earthquake from Salamence, but I'm not 100% sure. Dragology actually cannot touch me. A Choice Specs Draco Meteor hurts a little bit, but that's assuming that he doesn't die to Heart Stamp, doesn't get flinched, things like that. Tauros, if he goes for Earthquake, he's going to get Sheer Force Life Orb damage, and then it still doesn't kill from full. So no matter what, if Jirachi cannot get burnt on one Scald, please, I'm saying this now, Jirachi, please do not get burnt on the first Scald that happens against you. I can already see how it's going to go. He's going to go for Scald with Suicune on this thing, trying to burn it. He's going to attempt to get it. He knows I like Expert Belt on my Jirachi. He knows I like Expert Belt in general, so I'm hoping that whenever he doesn't see Life Orb or a choice item, that he's like, Expert Belt, he doesn't have Loam, I can burn him or paralyze him, but he's not going to be able to, so that's really awesome. I have a lot of hope for Jirachi this game. I have a lot of hope for Jirachi this game. The next Mon on my team that I decided to put on was a Mon that actually 5-0'd him, and that is Kyurem. Kyurem got 5 kills against him whenever Trav used it, so I was like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This thing does a lot to his team. It outspeeds his Mega Altaria +1 and Okoza with Ice Beam. Ice and Dragon coverage do a lot to his team in general. The only thing he really has to switch into it is Registeel. Even Infernape can't switch in to Ice Beams that well because they still do about 41% minimum. Suicune doesn't like Dracos. It takes about 63% minimum from a modest Draco, so that's really, really awesome if I can weaken it with Jirachi or Electivire or anything like that. So Kyurem is going to be amazing this match. I'm really hoping that it can put up the stats that it put up against him in the first game. I don't expect it to because he's already been hurt by it a lot. So I'm thinking he'll prep for this a lot. I think we'll be bringing like Mach Punch Infernape. I think we'll be bringing like Stone Edge on his Tauros. I think we'll be bringing like maybe Iron Head on his Registeel, something like that, to take on this thing, because Registeel can live Earth Powers, which, you know, is fine. The reason why I have Dragon Pulse on there over like another coverage move like Psychic or something like that for Infernape, the reason being is because if I have this thing in, Dragon Pulse still does a decent chunk of damage if Mega Altaria is gone and Registeel is weakened. Like, nothing really wants to switch into Dragon Pulses at all. Even Suicune doesn't. He still takes about 40% from him, so if I get a decent roll or something like that, I can do a lot of damage to it. So actually, I kind of want to double check that calc right now. Not Life Orb. Yeah, it does about 31 to 37%, so that's still a good chunk of damage, and if he's already weakened, he can't take 2 of them, so that's really, really nice. I'm really hoping that Kyurem puts in the finest to work. Do I expect it to? Nah, not really, but I'm hoping it does. And the last mon on my team is something I've already talked about a little bit, and that is, of course, Milotic. Now, Scald, Haze, Ice Beam, Recover. Very standard, physically defensive. Very standard. Haze is there for Suicune. Ice Beam for Mega Altaria, Scald for everything else, and Ice Beam for Salamence. But basically, if I can just sit in there and recover and click Scald, it's going to be wearing him down very, very quickly. His sweepers are extremely frail in Infernape, Azelf, and Tauros, so this thing being really bulky and having a decent power behind it, it's a very, very nice matchup against this team. But I love the team that I've made. I don't have a lot of confidence in it because I've lost a lot of confidence from the last 2 matches, but I wanted to have fun. I wanted to do something new. I wanted to be creative. So this is basically what I came up for my creativity. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please make sure you leave a like down below. Also, make sure to go check out all the links of the PPL, stuff like that. Please wish me luck. I need the luck so much right now. But with all that being said, I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!